Hello, good evening, and welcome to Talking Dogs on a Monday. Don't worry, Ian Fortune will be back next weekend. This is the last week I'm filling in for him, but I'm joined by two able deputies in Damian Lonergan. Damian, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Mary. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. And Declan O'Donoghue. Declan, how's things with you? All good?
Very good, Mary. Very good, yeah.
Only one place to start, and that's Shelbourne Park from Saturday night. We've seen three tremendous semi-finals of the BoyleSports Champion Stakes and also the BoyleSports Champion Plate. Declan, we will start with you. The first semi-final, Sentimental Lad. We've mentioned him here in the programme the last couple of weeks. Blinding in the track record run a couple of weeks ago, and he took the step back down to 5:50 in a stride on Saturday night.
He did. He ran very well. Bucko's ran extremely well too. Was very quick away, 3:37 sectional, which if he repeats that in the final would put him, I would think, in pole position. But Sentimental Lad was superb. As you say, 5.75 track record holder, dropping down on trip, not a bother. He's a wide runner with 4 wide seats in the final, which is unusual, and he got 6, which is just perfect for him. You know what I mean? It is his box, absolutely. Just like Born Warrior will have it in the other final on the night. And but look, you know, it was a very good. The two of them were in charge from early. You know, you have to say that. And there are two dogs that you won't easily come from behind. There was a bit of Ralph and Mo for the first bend. There was a bit of shoving and shunting there, but really, once 5 and 6 were in front, you know, it was then a matter of would 6 past 5, and he did actually quite comfortably in the end. It has to be said, very impressively.
Yeah, too. And some of the runners in behind, you just can't afford to make any mistakes at this sort of a level. Damo, Bucko's Butts, he done nothing wrong in front, really.
Bucko's also took a smash break, but I think Sentimental Lad also took a smash break too. Like, you know, I don't know what way the track was Saturday night. It seemed to be very quick. Trials were very quick. The start of the car was very quick. And I thought when these two dogs went smash, we'd be seeing the sub 29.40 one line, 29.57. No, it's not at all wrong with it. Not at all wrong with it. It was maybe the track was just getting going back a small bit. Look, Bucko's Buds, similar as he didn't blow in Tralee in the race champions. He went smash in the semi-final and was picked up on the line. In the final, they didn't see which way he went. He was just away and gone. So look, the runs could bring him on, and I think he's perfectly drawn the final. He's near your guaranteed leader.
Yeah, I think it'd be my idea of the leader in the final. We were just talking about Sentimental Lad on Saturday night to a couple of people over there, and they were saying, can he come out again that well? But in fairness to him, he came out well the night he chased home Explosive Boy Declan. He flew out the night he broke the track record, and he flew out again for his standards, I suppose, to go up behind Bucko's Butts. If he comes out in the same fashion and gets around within a couple of lengths of one of the leaders, he'll take all the beating, really, won't he?
Oh, he will if he does. Like he always, the worst he does is break with them. You know, but he actually broke very well on Saturday. I agree with you. And if he breaks that well next Saturday, yeah. I mean, there's some the two on the inside have a huge chance as well. You know, yeah. Beach Avenue has been unlucky with the draw. Very, very unlucky. He did tremendous to win from where he was, and we'll come to that in a minute. But yeah, I agree. The Sentimental Lad, he's got to be right in the mix, whatever way you look at it.
He is indeed. Damien, yeah, we will touch on the trials. I know what you're saying. There was a 27.99 done before racing, but I still think that track can change from race to race. I really do. I can take a couple of lengths out. But I agree with you. 29.57 when Sentimental Lad got a clear run. I suppose Bucko's Buds, we've seen him go fast, and he's doing an estimated 29.74, and he never really got touched. So yeah, the track might have been a bit on the slow side towards the end of the night. On to the second semi-final. Declan, one time only, returning after a layoff. I don't think he had a run since May, but he was a good winner in 29.63 for Tommy O'Donovan.
It was a superb effort, because if you look at some of the other dogs returning from a layoff, they weren't mapped in Saturday night, you know, and he comes out and wins. And 2 in a row, was match fit, had a tremendous race the week before, had every chance behind him. It was a very, very good. It was easy, I'd say, the winner's best run in Shelbourne. No question about that, because it hasn't always been his best track, you know. And he was very good. Park Lake had to get around the corner in front. Really, you felt at that against those, and it just didn't happen for him, you know. All About Ted is not the dog he was last year for whatever reason. It just isn't happening for him. Crafty Bonanza ran well, actually, and just there was a bit of the first bend, the usual, and JT wasn't in it at all, to be honest about it. You know, he's gone disappointing, has to be said. You know, look, brilliant as a puppy. I thought the early round of the English Derby he was starting to come to himself again, but so it's just not happening for him at the moment. First two very impressive, both of them deservedly in the final, and they both have big chances, and they're both well drawn.
They are, yeah. I thought it was a good contest. Crafty Bonanza, as you say, from Martin Lanny, went down the back straight in second place, and 2 in a row in Park Lake went past him. And Crafty Bonanza is a very smart dog. Damien, one time only, he is a Laurels winner he's well drawn again in the final. He has track 1. He has to have a big chance as well.
Yeah, I think Thomas Dunn has done wonders with this fellow. He got a couple of bad injuries, I think, starting off, and to get him back to winning laurels and now to be in the Champion Stakes final, it's fair going. He think he raced the early part of his career with a middle or wide seed. I think he maybe ran a race too, a middle or wide seed, but he doesn't look out of place on the inside. Look, it was a fantastic run on Saturday night, 29.63. I know he's come back from layoff, but Thomas had him fairly well forward, you know, going into the race, which proved Saturday night he wasn't coming back. 2 in a row, trained by Pat Quiley. Like, he was favoured for the Derby at the end of last year. Like, he looked a complete dog. He maybe just hasn't hit the highlights as we thought he would at the end of last year or the start of this year yet, but he was off a very, very long time. I'm sure Pat Quiley is a Derby on his mind now, and it's whatever he picks up on along the way. It will be a bonus. But look, I'd say I just having slight jolly, maybe just going into the final because of his reputation.
Yeah, he was a little unlucky, I suppose, in the run up. If you watch it again, he didn't get the clearest of runs. At first impressions, it looked like he got a clear run, but 1 and 3 were sort of impeding him ever so slightly. But he's in decent form. He ran well the week previous when he picked up or came from behind again to beat Bacchus Budset. So he's obviously in good form. Yeah, Park Blake ran well back in 3rd place and didn't get as good a start as he was hoping for. And yeah, all about Ted, I agree. He needs to get back to somewhere near his best if he's to make a decent challenge in this year's Derby. On to the 3rd and final semi-final. Declan Trippy's nice one. She was a good winner for Mortley, and again, Beach Avenue, what a dog he is to get to another Champion Stakes final.
It was incredible by both of them. I mean, she was knocked around badly the first bend. The unlucky dog was Disco Pants, who went up very, very well at top 4. You know, I thought he was up against it at this level. He ran a cracker into the first bend. Croker Spirit had a first run on the inside. Disco lost out badly. Didn't do Droopies any favours. Beach Avenue had to run wide and outside the hair rate or something to get back into the race. And it looked like Croker's was going to see it out front, coming right up to the line even. And the other 2 whiz home on the outside. So you'd feel a bit sorry for Croker's connections. He was as good as there. And the other 2 but they both did very well from where they were for the trouble they met. They both ran superbly, you know, to get through. The only thing I do think Beach Avenue is badly drawn in 3 in the final. He's got it all through.
He is, Damien. Yeah, he's badly drawn in 3, but he's been some dog for the Healy's Beach Avenue over the years, made numerous finals, and it'd be great to see him get his head in front of the big one, really, wouldn't it?
Oh, he's just been a dream zone. Like, it's like he's any competition he enters, he's there at the latter stage. Like, whether I'd say if you say put him in a sprint competition, he'll get to it. Like, he's a dream dog, and he's got a good old sat nav on him too. Like, you know what I mean? He doesn't do stupid things all the time. You know, dogs with lack a bit of early pace, they always find trouble. This fella, you know, he has a good head on his shoulders, and you give your left and right arm to own a dog of his caliber. I'd say the journey that we've been on with him is unbelievable. I thought Croker Spear was an absolute certainty in the race. You know, he's probably the tightest raider racing at the moment. He got trap 1. I thought this is if he's ever going, this could be his Derby. You know, I thought that he'd lead and win, but maybe the run came too quick. I know he had a couple of runs below in Cork, all right, but you have to see him up the home straight. The 2 wrong dogs were coming from behind him. Like, Doobie's nice one stays all day, and sure, Beach Avenue would say we'll get 1,000 yards. But no, look, Mortley can do no wrong at the moment, can't he? Not like he's
flying. Yeah,
he
has his string in fine form. I butchered this commentary somewhat on Saturday night. I did say that Tullygraven and 2 dived for the rails, and suddenly when I look back at it, he was forced onto the rails by Kilgraney Sydney. Declan, I think this is an issue. I banged on about it last week, but I still think this is an issue going forward for the upcoming Derby. Dogs drawn on the inside of the likes of Kilgraney Sydney and the other Kobe. They're going to be at a big disadvantage. We've seen Tullygraven there. He only had 1 run, broke a track record, and he has a bad experience there up at Shelbourne Park on Saturday night. It's going to be a huge factor, I think, track draws for the Derby.
Well, I think in fairness, though, Tullygraven was only having his 2nd race. You know, I mean, that's a big ask. You know,
it is a big ask, but he'd no chance. He'd no chance from 5 yards after the start. The way these dogs die for the race. It's just a part.
Yeah,
of the game,
I mean, obviously, trap draw is going to play a huge part. I agree with you. I think Shelbourne suits wide runners anyway, particularly from 550 up. You know, it's a tremendous track. That's why Sentimental Lad goes and is running so well. That's why Francis one is running so well as well. The Born Wonder Dog. You know, because it is a dog, it is a track for outside runners. If they stay out, it's superb, you know. But sorry, that heat, yeah, I Kilgraney went from the inside. Kilgraney is a very good dog, but I didn't realize he needed the rails that badly. But he really seems to go for them all the time now, you know. So that's going to be, that'll work against him and against those on inside him. But he's a very good dog.
Damien, on to the final itself. You have got it priced up. You currently have a 2 in a row as your 5-2 favourite, with BoyleSports at 3s and 7-2 bar those two, brings in one time only Sentimental Lad. 5-1 Droopy's Nice One and Beach Avenue. How do you see the final going yourself, Damien?
Look, it's a fantastic final. Something tells me that BoyleSports is going to hit it again and lead. And there's a 29-40 running on it, if not better. And come Derby time, like does he remind you like of maybe a sort of a Pastana who's, you know, will come Derby time, trackers will be absolutely mental and he'll be on the bunny and there'll be no catching him. Look, Sentimental Lad, from what Michael Heaney's done with this dog, it's been unbelievable. Himself and Emer, like they're getting some run out of him. Like, you know, like he was favourite for the 600 final, things just didn't go his way. He's picking up some prize money, this dog, you know. He's winning his opens for 500 here for 2 in a row. As he's going to be favourite, reputation having favourite, and he probably the one dog that a loser in the anti-post book as well. Only that was sort of heavily back before it went off, so that's probably the reason he's favourite. Look, if you give me a tenner free bet in the race, I'd go with the 5 dog that he'll go out and lead all the way. I'm sure the way Graham Holland's going in the finals at the moment, it's very likely to happen.
Well, you're the one that works for BoyleSports, Damien. If you can't give yourself a free bet, we're all in trouble. Declan, how do you see the final going? Damien thinks 2 in a row should go off favourites. I think it's wide open. You can make a case for most. I
would have 5 favourite. To be honest with you, I would go 9-4 to 5, maybe 5-2 to 6 where he's drawn. He's banging form. He's having a great run. There is a fear the two on the inside could kind of do each other, you know. I said they're perfectly drawn, but look now, I agree with Damien to a certain extent. Maybe if 2 in a row was in 1 and one time only was in 2, it might actually suit both of them a little bit better, you know. Look, it's a great fun. It's a great, and of course the Myrtle Lahey's one is very much she ran a blinder, you know, all the trouble and messing that she met to come through and win. And as you said, the Kennel's in great form as well. But I would think if going to my head, I would say BoyleSports would be the one I think will win. But it's a wide up final. It's wide up. Yeah,
it looks the most likely leader. And if you're leading in one of these contests doing 29-40 or so, it's going to be very hard to be pegged back. Beach Avenue in 3. At first glance, you think the trap draw is not ideal for him, but look, I don't think he's going to be up there early on, so it could still suit him. It's a fabulous race to look forward to on Saturday evening. It is live on Racing Post Greyhound TV. Declan, we then had the BoyleSports Champion Place later on the card. Price is King. He was running in an A2 competition around there recently, now albeit a hot A2 competition, but he was a good winner for Brian Kathleen Murphy and Paul Hennessy of the first semi-final of the plate.
He was, and I'm not sure what Damien thought. I thought 6-1 Price is King was an incredible bet from where he was drawn. He has a 208 section from quite recently, which he didn't do this time, and there was a lot of messing in the race as well. But I just thought he was well drawn. I wouldn't mind the clock. It was his first time in 550, and he just tied up slightly going to the line. I think he's a serious chance in that. He ran well. The others all got trouble, didn't they? I mean, the Gaga dog hit Ballymac Fair one. Then Ballymac Fair one. I'd say some of the Kerry players got less clatters yesterday than Ballymac Fair man got. I mean, he was not all over the place, you know. The Bowl Fetty was interesting. Didn't know Shelbourne. Didn't have a race recently, so was in big trouble, I thought, the minute I saw it, you know. Yeah. But he did miss the break, and he did very well to qualify in the end. Did very well to qualify, you know. The six ran very well. Paradise, the one she ran extremely well in second. The winner did everything right. It's Russian Glory possibly was short of a race, but he got messed up as well. He got badly done at the first bend. So it's easy to kind of knock the winner because all the rest met trouble. But if you come out and do everything right in front, well, that's generally how you win races. You know?
Catch me if you can. Yeah, it was a good winner. Damien, the Bowl Freddy was a little bit unlucky in third. I don't know if you've seen the replay of the race, but I think he was nearly in front into the escape. He's got to have a big chance in the final with a bit of track knowledge behind him.
Oh, he's got unbelievable gears. The Bowl Freddy show. He started off from Tralee. I think then he done a good run in Limerick, and then he brought over the Toadster as a pure pup. he won the first night and then he got knocked out. But no, that was, look, you have to be happy. He had a trial in Dundalk, maybe they did the international on their mind or something like that, but the trial didn't exactly blow you away. But no, he did run very, very well. Done everything wrong early and absolutely flew home. I think he hadn't caught just past the 5.75 line. Yeah. Price to see, Declan was saying the top price of the game is a big price. Like, price in a race like this, when you have the likes of Ballymac Fair won, an English Derby finalist last year who ran well in England this year. You have Russian Glory, who, geez, he was looked to be the makings of a right dog last year. Like, you could make them 3 and 4 to 1, and next thing have egg in their face afterwards. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Ballymac Fair just dived straight for the rails. He gave the ones inside him no chance. But that's one of the reasons I said that the Bold Friday was so far behind going to bend. But Priceless King smashed away. He's the dog. He's local knowledge, and he's, as I said, he's after coming out of an A2 competition. He used trap 1 to his advantage, and I would look at the track. The time wouldn't blow you away, but I'm sure he's capable a lot better.
Yeah, as you say, when you're pricing up that race, you have one dog coming from an English Derby and another one coming from an A2, so there is a gulf in class. But look, you've done it well on the night prices. Declan, we will go to you for the second semi-final of the play. You were very sweet on Born Warrior. He ran well in 3rd place last week. I think it was behind Boccos Butsit and Kilgreen, or 2 in a row. So that form stood up. I think he won now for the 8th time or the 9th time in 12 starts there on Saturday night. He was very impressive, Born Warrior.
He was. I think he was very unlucky not being in the main event. To be honest with you, you know, and he ran a cracker. Now, he didn't break well. He generally comes out with them. He didn't come out with them this time, but he got the clear one on the outside, which he loves. Cut in nicely, and he tracks well. But Deadly Showtime did nothing wrong either, and they're both perfectly drawn in the final. You know, it'll be tight between them again. I would think.
Yeah, it is a decent final. We've got to say, Jennifer O'Donnell is due a bit of luck in a big final. She was just pipped in the final of the Oaks with Scooby Duchess. Again, she'd no luck down in the Shelley Fennelly, which we'll touch on later on. And the other Kobe had no luck in the Champion 550 recently. Damian, he's a chance on Saturday night. Good draw in Trap 6, Born Warrior. He should start favourite.
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to be favourite. That Deadly Showtime when he came out like he did after where we seen him in Limerick. You know, you're doing 28, 13. I said, this fella, you know, Born Warrior will have it on his hands here, but by the second corner, he had him passed.
That shows the early pace that Born Warrior has, really.
Yeah, but he's a perfect, you know, I think Shelbourne, if you have a middle to wide runner, the way they run the corners there, you know, if they just stay out and sweep the bends, they make so much ground. Like he's a dog who never runs a bad race. I don't think he's ever finished out of the frame. He ran, he ran and there was a big one off 525 down there 2 or 3 Sundays ago.
Yeah, Flaming Moneybags won it.
Yeah,
just beat him now, just about. Yeah.
It was a good race like that. No, Barmara just didn't start, and when Flaming Moneybags get in front of Kenny, you're not going to pass him. Like the time was there as well. But I think Barmara, look, he's been a wide seed. He's going to get his draw more often than not. And you know, if you got kind of juicy price for him for the Derby, I think he's a dog that will give you a lot of value because he will go a few rounds.
Yeah, with a bit of early pace and staying out wide, as you say. Declan, you going to nail your colours to Born Warrior for this Saturday night, or do you fancy Deadly Showtime from the draw?
I just go Born Warrior. The form he's in, it looks between the two of them. Prices will improve a bit in the clock, and will need to, you know. But it looks the 1 and 6 would have. I mean, who knows with the Bold Freddy? I mean, what he can do, as Damian said, what we saw in Limerick, what we saw early on in Tulsa, he's a very, very good dog. He missed the kick completely the other night, and then also, as Damian is right, because 2 and 4 booked each other. And that didn't help him either. So everything went against him early in the race. He did qualify. Obviously, he'll have to break an awful lot better if he's to win. But if he does, he's right in it. But there's a lot of ifs and buts there. I think Born Warrior probably is the safest. Yeah. Yeah.
So 2 big finals to look forward to this Saturday night at Shelbourne Park. Both are live on Racing Post Greyhound TV on Saturday evening. Just on the supporting cards there at Shelbourne on Saturday night. Damian, the first race, your own bitch ran well enough in the first race. It was a hot enough contest. You finished well back in 4th place, Abbey Lee Rose. But Jack Cameron Jet, he was a good winner for the Pillar Syndicate.
Yeah, he was an eye catcher the week before. Thought he was kind of got us very high, like, you know. So maybe he's still only learning the trade. So that'll do his confidence a world of good. You know, that was a nice introduction out to Shelbourne Park. 28.53. There's no doubt he'll go a bit quicker. Rachel Wheeler then had two and a quick fire double. Her second winner was very, very impressive after missing the break.
That was his debut. Yeah, and to pick up points in Pilates, who's not a bad dog. He's won over 550. He won the Derby Trial Stake in Shelbourne Park last year for Martin Lanny. He's a decent hound out in front. I need a 2-length lead in fairness to him. So Millfield Dilo, yeah, he did do good running to pick him up.
Oh, he did. Like, there was stamina's not going to be no issues. Well, just going back to Born Warrior there. I know we're going to go. Did he just swing off an extra length or two off the last corner the other night? Declan,
he ran very wide the last corner. Yeah, he can do that. A lot of the wide runners do that in Shelbourne, as you know. They take the last bend far too wide. Yeah, didn't make it easier for himself, for sure.
No, he made like you can nearly shave an extra length or off his time.
Yeah.
Because I meant to say that he did. Is that a trade? I haven't noticed him do it before, but he just took it like an extra jink out the right. And when he straightened up, he kicked on for he kicked on.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you. I think he's a serious Derby dog. You know. Yeah,
he had done enough anyway. He had enough in hand to hold off Deadly Showtime in second place. Yeah, we must mention Rachel Wheeler, our first one, Declan Millfield Dino, as Damian said, a good winner. That was his Shelbourne Park debut. But the second one, Anna Bailey, 28.34. He looks a special hound as well. He's only very young.
Very impressive with both of them. Rachel actually trains in the same village as Graham Holland, which is the same village as the first 3 or 4 winners on the night, which is a bit unusual, I would think. Yeah, second one was very good, yeah, and picked up a very good dog, I should say, in price, not Pilates, and will be better over a longer trip, definitely, you would think. Yeah,
Millfield, that was congratulations to Rachel Wheeler. Urban Fire for Reggie Roberts never seems to run a bad race. Fastest winner of the night over the 550 trip was Ballymacfin, Declan, for the Dowlings. He ran a blinder. He could have easily shirked the issue at the first bend. He was a little bit short of room and well met sort of went in, but he was brave, forced his way through in the first bend. 29.56. It was a good clock.
It was very impressive. And I agree with the Urban Fire when Reggie's one is running out of his skin. I mean, he's getting career best times now.
He's not 4 years old.
Yeah, superb. Yeah, but the Ballymac one was very impressive. Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah.
Declan, what did you think? Or Damien, sorry, Ballymacfin. He was a good winner of the happy 60th birthday, Yvonne Barry. 550. Yvonne enjoyed her night there. Ballymacfin. Yeah, as I say, he could have shared the issue going to the bend. He was a little bit short of room, but he was brave.
Yeah, he was. I think the lads who do the clocking in Shelbourne had this fella doing massive clocks down the back straight all the time. So it was, he was only showing what he was always capable of doing. Look, he had every chance of pulling out of the corner, but the Dowlings, they're having a relatively quiet season so far. Are they going to leash all these things now, just coming towards the Derby? Something like they do, all right.
Yeah, well, their luck is changing now with Kerry winning the All-Ireland yesterday. So maybe it's time for the Kingdom to rise again. Hanover Phantom was a good winner of the last Declan for the McDonoughs. That was his first win in his fourth start at Shelbourne Park. Hadn't had much luck, but I think he's a Galway track record holder. And again, like Ballymacfin, he was brave at the first bend.
He was, and it was anyone's race onto the first bend. But once he took control, he was going to win from there. Yeah, it was a good performance, and as you say, a brave performance too, because he had to drive into it, and he did, and then he kicked on. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good winner.
So that's the Shelbourne Park. Just before we leave Shelbourne Park, there was a couple of big trials there on Saturday night. Damian, Tullig's surname, 27.99. This dog, I think he's unbeaten. I think he's 7 from 7 for Pat Buckley. An incredible run there on Saturday night. That trial would have been done about 5:30. So it's hard to know how the track changed that much between then and later on the evening. Ballinabola Ed also clocked 28.18, but Buckley must have been happy with those two trials, Damian.
Oh, it had to be. Like, I think Tullig's surname had a 28.04 or 05 done previously. Winner of the Lee Strand. Like, he romped home the Lee Strand. Like, he turned it into a procession every round. We'll see. Like 26, no doubt he's an absolute aeroplane. But we'll see now. Put him in with a Born Warrior or 2 in a row or a Bucko's Buds, and to really test him out. He's definitely one of the fastest dogs, if not the fastest dog in the country. But we'll see how he gets on when he gets thrown into the deep end.
A bit of race. Just another trial down in, I think it was Cork the weekend. Storage Rex 17. I think it was 17.27 for the 325 Declan. He's a dog that has to have a massive chance in the upcoming Derby. I gave the owners a lift home on Saturday night, Leonard and Barbara. They actually have a holiday booked for the weekend of the final. So I don't think Leonard really knows it, but he said if Storage Rex makes the final, I can go on the holiday instead of him. Now, we haven't really shook on it, but Storage Rex, yeah, he could go a long way, Declan.
He will, yeah. Again, the one thing I have about him, he hasn't much Shelbourne experience. That is, and Ballinabula, Ed, the same. And you know, in derbies, I'm watching him a long time, and it does come into it. It does come into it. You know, often in the early rounds, actually, it can, you know. But he's a superb dog. The one time we saw him in Shelbourne was against Kilbraney, Sydney, and they both went up blind that night. I think that was a qualifier for the Kirby, if I'm not mistaken, on a Saturday night.
Yes, it would have been.
The two of them ran absolute blinders that night, and you know, here we are. We've a brilliant Champion Stakes this week, and we're talking about the Derby already. It's just fantastic. It's fantastic.
Well, Leonard and Barbara were keeping their cards close to the chest on Saturday night, but I think we may see him soon enough in Shelbourne Park. Down to Dundalk.
Just on Swords Rex, I think the chink in his armour, if you can have an early pace runner up his inside, like the happened in the Project Stakes, he missed it. There was an early pace runner on his inside, and that was that.
Yeah, but you could have an early pace runner on his outside as well, like the other Kobe. It's the trap draw is going to be vital going forward in the Derby, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I can tell you, if they've booked their holidays for Derby final night, you can nearly back for the Derby now. It's going to happen. These things happen in horse racing as well. I can tell you.
Look, as I said, I'll go for him. I'll gladly go for him.
Yeah.
Down to Dundalk, Damien, the Bar 1 Sprint Cup first heat, Serene Ace yet again, 2096. What a dog he's been from Mick O'Donovan.
You know, I was looking at the replays and I said, geez, he missed the kick, did he slightly? But like looking at
686 to the bend.
So obviously the 6 dog race must have absolutely flew out. But Serene Ace, he looked like 5 to 5 was as much as he wanted in Shelbourne Park. He really appreciated the extra couple of yards to run to the corner. Like Dundalk is a funny track, like as in like sprinters don't normally, you know, it's not really no sprinters do get caught out there. I know it's hard. The real sprinters do, like he could be a perfect dog for it. Just about sees out 5 to 5 and is crying out for the longer run to the corner. Like so, like, and he's after beating Flash and Willow, who has a record of Tralee and Toaster, and he's beating him 2.5 lengths every night. Like,
Flash and Willow, Declan, he's not flying out again, is he? He's shown immense pace into the first bend, but he hasn't really flew out down to Dundalk so far. Maybe he will improve with the experience around the track.
But I agree with Damien. I've noticed with that down the years. Excuse me, it does seem to suit 5 to 5 dogs. That event particularly. Good Cody, it does. And Serene Ace is answering every call so far. You know.
Damien, we must mention Adam Dunford. He's absolutely flying down there. A treble last week, 3 winners again in the space of 30 minutes at Dundalk on Saturday night with Fantasy Reese, Fantasy Jesse, and Caul Johnny. He has his dogs in some form.
Yeah, Adam and his father, Tommy Dunford, they're training just outside Clonmel County Waterford, actually. They were a big part of the Holland team. I think they still are. He was in Clonmel there for a race 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I think he banged in two, and he ended up winning the race afterwards, but banged in 2 or 3 more winners. Like, you know, his dogs are absolutely flying, and he's like, they had, you know, they went up to Dundalk, generally not too far exposed, no one dog, a couple of runs done in all, but they're really, really taking the place. And he has them, in fairness to Adam, he has them in flying order. And they're two of them, the work they're doing in Clonmel Dog Track as well. You know, at the moment, the way they're revamping the place, and they're doing, in fairness to everyone down there, doing a great job. But Tommy and Adam are there most days, so a lot of credit for that too.
Yeah, he has his dogs in flying form, as I say, and they're quite lightly raced. His 3 winners, Fantasy Jesse, they don't seem to have more than 10 or 12 races between them. We'll just touch on Highfield Ozark 2099 out of the bitch Brownstown Tango. She's thrown some sprinters, Declan, and we've seen in Shelbourne Park with two Amigos is another one of our offspring as well. But a good winner there, Highfield Ozark.
Yeah, and as you say, the breeding seems to come through with a lot of over that trip, especially. It does seem to come into it, but 2 Amigos is excellent also. You know, like a lot of sprinters are hit and miss, no matter what way you go about it. You know, they are hit and miss because, you know, you either fly out and that level. If you don't fly out against those dogs, you're in trouble. So it's a very hard one. But
what's sorry?
A half a length will do it. Like if you miss it a half a length, that's it. You're
in trouble.
I was going to say that to you, Damien. Look at the heat winners: 21:05, 21:16, 21:12, 21 seconds dead. Like, there's nothing between any of these, and as you say, the half a length, if you miss it, you're in trouble. So any one of these can win it on their day, really.
Well, like you go back to Highfield Ozark, is similar to Serene. It seemed the longer run to the corner, the more he was going to the corner, the further he was going clear. Like, it's not often you see that. Sometimes, a dog will ping it, and next thing, because you're doing 7 second sectionals.
7-second sectionals we've had now.
And you still have another 15 or 20 yards to go. Like, do you know what I mean? So it just tells you how long run to the corner that is.
If you were to pick one out now, Damian, at this stage for outright honours, and no Serene Ace and Flashing Willow are up there at the top of the market, it's hard to look beyond those with level starts, I suppose.
Oh, look, Serene Ace keeps banging out, or keeps even trapping level, and the way he's roaring into the bend. He's after 2 runs around the dock now. He's after breaking 21 seconds twice. That takes a lot of doing.
Good stuff. Just want to touch on the Tipperary Cup. It was the second round over the weekend. Bobsleigh Dream was a good winner for Pat Buckley in the second heat. And a dog I know you were fond of, Damian, Bitch, I know you're fond of, Skywalker Sitter, still a good winner in 29.05.
Yeah, Michael Lundman has a good old record in this competition. It's you know, I think it's after losing its start at Glass. I don't know why. That used to be a top competition. But it attracted some nice entries this year. Bobsleigh Dream, I think I'd have more, maybe a 600-yard runner now than 5 to 5. But yeah, she done nothing wrong now on Saturday night.
And then just down in Limerick, with the final of John Whelan Kennedy Cup, Stream of Sydney took that one for Pat Buckley and Austin Whelan, a fine winner in 28.29. He's won his last 4 on the spin. Damien, I don't know if you've seen that contest, but 28.29, that's a personal best. He's a nice hound to look forward to for Team Buckley and Whelan as well.
Yeah, I think he only came into that competition too off. He's only a very few races ran. He started.
Yeah, that was his 7th race there, 6th race, sorry, on Saturday night. Yeah, winning that.
Yeah, so as in Buckley's dog, really starting to come to the fore now again. As in he's unleashing all his big ones now, just in time for the Derby.
And he's plenty of big ones to unleash as well. Down at Cork on Saturday night, we have the final of the Shelley Fennelly Memorial Open Bitch. Declan, Bocco's Melody was a good winner. Again, you have to feel, I know I mentioned already for Jennifer O'Donnell, no luck again in the final, Scooby Duchess. But Bocco's Melody, she came from well off the pace for Graham Holland to win in 28.41. She was a good winner.
She was, and she was certainly prepared 550. You know, yes. So you know she could go a few rounds of the Derby quite easy. You know what I mean? She's a very, very good winner. Yeah, I think that used to be 550 one time, but anyway, it's 5 to 5 at the moment. But it was a messy race early on. You'd have to say. But she did the business.
Inside seeds. Yeah. 6 inside seeds in it.
Yeah.
Damien, what did you make of that final? She looked in trouble at halfway, but she came through. She won it by a couple of lengths in the end, like.
Yeah, but come here. She'd every reason to pull up at the bend too, because there was so much trouble around her, but she held her ground and thought she didn't. You know, she never flinched, which is a deadly sign. Like, you know, a lot of dogs would have pulled out at the corner, and you know, and just
she hung in there.
I let you go, but she held her ground and opened up down the far side and said she clear up the home straight.
Yeah, the runner-up ran well again. Borges Josie back in 2nd place. Ballymac run. Declan, we must mention Ballymac Art. She went off favourite. What a bit she's been for the Dowlings. It's hard. You'd have her down as maybe a 5-year-old. She's only at January 19, and yet again made another big final.
Yeah. She's tremendous. She's just tremendous, and as we know, she owns Shelbourne particularly well too. You know, so yeah, there's plenty more races, plenty more things to be won with her for sure. Yeah.
Damien, can you see any of those going for the upcoming Derby? I suppose Bocco's Melody will go for it. Might be a bit too far for Borges Josie and Ballymac Art, though she did go a couple of rounds in the last year.
Ballymac is don't be missing Barry. Ballymac is certainly running the Derby. Like whatever's on 4 legs come the first round of Derby in BallymacGilligan will be running the Derby.
Right. I'm just touching on the Derby before we finish up. Your Derby selection. I put Declan on the spot here last week. He gave us Dolores Roots. Mustang Jet as a bit of an outsider. I know you're fairly fond of the winner on Saturday night there, Declan Bourne Warrior. Damien, what are you? Give us 2 against the field for you at the moment.
Look, I like Explosive Boy. I just think he's an old warrior.
Well named.
He'll just, you know, he's going to be. He's danced every dance, and I have no reason why he shouldn't do it again. Could have any half sure he's probably gone a bit too short now in the betting. Look, I said, look, Bourne Warrior is a dog. Whites, as I said, he'd get his draw most nights. Level starts, he leads up most dogs in the Derby, so he could be one at a bit of a price.
Yeah, promises to be a fascinating contest. Like, I think it's one of the best derbies we have. We seem to say this every year, but I can't remember a derby as good as this. There's so many top class runners around. Just to mention Savannah Hero for the matches 1858 at Shelbourne Park on Saturday night. That was also another big run. So lads, listen, thanks for your time. The Champion Stakes next week. Damian, in a word, the winner of the plate and the stakes.
Buckles, Butset and Barnwire.
Declan, for you?
I go the same.
The same. And anybody
Yeah.
got any hot tips for Galway?
Oh, you caught me in the hop there now. My mate Mossy in the hurdle, maybe.
Yeah, and follow Dermot well, Damien.
I'm going to go with Ekin Sue and Davide to win Love Island. I think they're 4 to 6 at the moment. It's like picking up off the floor.
Okay, there we have it. We do a Greyhound podcast and we end up with tips for Love Island. Damien, listen, thanks for your time. Enjoy the week.
All right, Barry.
And Declan, sure, I'll see you around Shelbourne Park over the coming weekend.
Brilliant, guys. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Listen, thanks very much for your time. We hope you have a good week. Don't forget, all the action is available, or all the action is on Racing Push Greyhound TV next Saturday night. Have a good week and well done, Kerry, yesterday. All the best.